I'm going to replace this laminate top, the sink, the tile back and side splash is coming off, and a little bit of plumbing underneath. If you decide you want to try to save whatever's on the wall, the tile or whatever, you can use a razor knife and or a putty knife and a hammer and just kind of break that seal between the top and the tile, and caulking, remove that if there's any caulking. Shut the water off, obviously, and let some air in the lines to let them drain down. And then we'll work on getting the supply lines and the drain unhooked. These particular shutoffs, I'm going to replace them. There's enough pipe here. I'm going to cut them off the pipe right below that one, and replace those. If you're saving your shutoffs and you have these plastic lines, you need to physically remove them from the shutoff, or it'll bind on you when you go to pull the top off. It's just going to make it harder. So I'm just looking for any signs of glue or caulking or silicone or nails or screws or anything up underneath to see how this thing's fastened. There's a couple screws up through that little cleat on the left and right side. I think that's the only thing. I didn't see anything squirting out, so just take them screws out, see if it'll move, I guess. The drain, take the trap off, obviously full of water, got a little sink booger there, and then plug your drain line with something, a paper towel or a rag or something to keep the gas from coming in while you're working on this thing. And then, like I said, I'm replacing these shutoffs, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those off right up underneath that compression nut there. And then I'm going to get the push-on quarter turn shutoffs on here. And then a lot of times these old tops, after you get it loose, this one's actually loose. I can pull it out right now, but a lot of times you can't see the edge of where it meets the countertop because it's overhanging. Their edging is overhanging a little bit, whether it's attached to the cabinet or out a little bit from it. They're all a little bit different, but this one, if you can't get your top loose, what you can do is, see, mine's already loose. I could pull it out of here, but just for the sake of telling you guys, if you do run into this, because it does happen a lot, you can break the side off, the edging, so you can get to where the cabinet meets the countertop itself. It's got that little lip on it. Once you bust off that edging, you can see where the cabinet is, and you can get your putty knife in there, your pry bar, or whatever you need. I like using a putty knife because I don't want to damage the cabinet. I'll get a putty knife started, and then if you have a flat bar, you can stick a flat bar or a screwdriver or something between your putty knife and the top and pry it up that way. And then once you get a little crack there, you'll be able to see if there's glue or nails or whatever it is, and then you can get in there to cut it. But you got to get that edging off first if you can't see the top of your cabinet. So like I said, this one's free. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off. Normally I like cutting the drywall out with the tile, but I just wanted to show you if you have to do it this way. Take a putty knife and loosen it up. It's going to damage the drywall no matter what you do if it was applied properly. So you can see where it's ripping the paper, and sometimes chunks of drywall will come with it, and that's why I think it's easier just to replace the drywall. But just for the sake of showing you how to do this, once you get all the tile off and get all your boogers and rips and tears peeled off, get as clean as possible, you can take a little bit of primer and prime those bare spots to keep it from blistering. You don't want to soak it, just nice thin coat, just enough to seal it. If you get any blisters after that, you can pull them off and pull a bit of primer on there, and that'll keep it from blistering real bad when you go to patch it with your mud. So yeah, I got the top off and got it all cleaned up and new shutoffs and ready for the sink. That's a couple coats of mud there. So yeah, don't be scared to get your hands dirty. It's not that hard.